Oh, well, it looks like I'm live by myself. This is awkward. So we don't do intros here, Scott, in case you didn't know that. We do have a trade question, though. I was going to bring it up. Just start from you. It's a long one. I'll just read it out. Ethan 22, he needs some help moving all these picks. 12 teams, start 9, Superflex, PPR, no tight end premium, 4-point passing touchdown, -1 for interceptions. He has Hurts, D. Watson, Higgins, Cup, Javonte. I'm going to stop reading. Laporta, he's got the 101 through the 103, the 105. A bunch of other picks that are redundant, quite frankly, at this point. Wants to know, should he trade the 102, the 203, and Javonte for Herbert and a 25 second? He hasn't been getting offers for the 103, so he's worried if he does this, it takes him. He's taking May. Would this be overkill? Would this be overkill? I don't know, real quick. I don't know that in a start 9, when you have the 101, the 102, and the 103, I need to trade for Justin Herbert. I'd much rather just draft a quarterback personally and then also draft Marvin Harrison. But that's me. But you also already have Hurts. That's not like you're dire need of a quarterback when you have Hurts and Watson. But that's just my initial thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, if I have these picks, so here's one rule of thumb. If I have like a top 6 pick, unless you are giving me a top 15 dynasty asset, it is not getting traded. Guys like Kyler Murray, guys like, I don't know, Chris Olave, they don't even get to the table, right? Like they do not get to the table. I need the premier pieces. If I'm moving number 101, 102, 103, 104, probably into 105, 106. Now, the thing is, the league's not going to value those picks from 101 to 106 the same. But go out there and do a startup. You're going to see that 104, 105 going off the board in like the second round, third round. Like it's not getting to the 4th or 5th round. Like you're going to get to I looked at a board the other day. You get to the 6th round, every first round pick is gone.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there going, man, there's players on the board that I would pay a first for, but we're at the point of the season. If you have a player, if you have DK Metcalf, he's probably not really worth a first. Now he's worth a first. Like I would pay a late first for him. But understand, the person that has the random wide receiver 18, they have zero leverage if they're trying to get into the draft, right, Shane?
Yeah.
So you have the league kind of by the balls right now with the picks. Now, they can call your bluff. They can make you wait and draft every one of those picks. But I'm not rushing to take the first deal that comes to me right now. So would I do it maybe straight up for Justin Herbert? Sure. How confident is that person getting the quarterback 1 in the class? Because I assume he's taking Marv, like you suggested.
Mm-hmm.
This person's getting the first quarterback off the board. Why are we so sure Justin Herbert is worth way more than that? You know what I mean? Like that just doesn't feel like a deal that you need to make. Is it a little risky that you're drafting a rookie? Yeah. But to sit here and go, oh man, basically you're paying a 20% tax to get something that you know for sure is not Zach Wilson. But that's it. You're buying out the potential bust, but that is all you were doing. There is very good chance that in 4 weeks into the season, Shane, we're going Caleb Williams, Drake May, or Jaden Daniels. We're taking them all over Justin Herbert. That quick. You know what I mean? So there's just no reason to add a significant tax on top of like the 102 to get Justin Herbert. So there's just no reason to do the deal right now. You got the leverage.
This is one of those, you're making a deal just to make a deal because you can make a deal. I have no impetus to make this deal. I think maybe there's some, and this goes back to the beginning of the college football season. There's just prospect fatigue with Caleb Williams. All of a sudden, he might not be that good. I don't know if he's that much better than Drake May. Okay. I mean, a year ago at this time, he was the second coming. So,
dude, there were people that taken him at QB 5 or 6 in Dynasty a year ago. And now that he's 3 months from having a team, man, I don't know. I think I'd take Trevor Lawrence over him. I'd take Kyler Murray. I mean, it's not like he had a bad season. He didn't win the national title, but it's like, it's just very odd how quickly the narrative can shift.
Yeah, he played on a bad team that underperformed. and he ran into the stands and cried with his mom when he lost the game because he's an emotional person, which is kind of something I like. But, you know, whatever. There's not any universe that I'm taking Kyler Murray over Caleb Williams. I'll be frank. I'm not taking Justin Herbert over Caleb Williams. There's only a few quarterbacks that are playing right now that I would take over Caleb Williams. So not to belabor that point, we got other questions. In case you hadn't noticed, oops, I meant to hide that. In case you hadn't noticed, Clay isn't here, but he should be showing up at 9:15. We're going to go about an hour tonight. I want to thank everyone for joining us. 262 eyeballs. Appreciate you all coming and join us on a Tuesday night, the night after Michigan won the national championship. And John Harbaugh, which Harbaugh is it? It's the one that's not
Jimothy Harbaugh.
It's Jimothy. Jim is going to be soon coaching one of these teams in the NFL, so that's fun. Christian Gardner said he's the middle of the startup draft. 12 team, start 10, super flex, 2 tight end premium. Currently in round 7. He has definitely zagged. No quarterbacks through the first 7. His current team is Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 104, 110, Ken Walker, DJ Moore, Mark Andrews. What do I do? Well, one, you've committed to this, right? I almost feel like the 104, he knows he's getting a quarterback.
Yeah,
no doubt.
104, you don't draft with the thought of it's not potentially a quarterback, right? You're going to have a choice there. There's going to be at least a quarterback on the board. So I like snagging that pick, and I like having the flexibility of not having to decide, because you never know. A quarterback could have fallen to round 6 that he liked, but apparently it didn't. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think you're just taking the pick to hedge your bets on having to make the decision. But yeah, I like his start so far, don't you?
Yeah, look, if you're going to zag, I appreciate this, right? If you're going to commit to a strategy, commit. Don't half-ass it. You know, don't in the 5th round or 4th round go, oh, well, Bryce Young's still on the board. Let me go get Bryce Young. I'm guessing he probably got like Mark Andrews or something like that. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to commit to the strategy, I like that he committed to it. He also did leave himself an out with that 104. And then after watching Michael Penix and JJ McCarthy, he probably left himself an out with the 110 because one of those two will probably still be on the board.
Well, and I don't know anything else about what he's got in the startup in terms of picks remaining, or we don't know anything else about the format. But just some advice here, Christian. You already took Mark Andrews. Don't waste any more picks on tight ends. Take one more of the entire draft. You've already drafted Kenneth Walker. You've invested in him. I don't know where you took him, but I think he usually goes around like RB 8 to 12, somewhere in that range. That's your anchor. You know what I mean? Like continue to draft value, but don't just go, oh, best player available, I'll take another tight end, or I'll start taking running backs. Like take what you think is the best value. It's January 9th. Draft optimally for value and construction. You know, you do not have to set a lineup for a long time. So the only thing I don't like about taking Ken Walker is looking at some of these other startups, Shane. You can get James Conner, Derrick Henry, Joe Mick. You get those guys like round 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
It's like when everyone else is gone, it's like, oh, yeah, I'll take James Conner. Like I'm fine with a big chunk of those guys as just my running back core. And if I'm taking them all outside of round 10, I do not care if they expire. You know, they are on my team to expire. That's not the core of what I've built. So that my only drawback would have been probably drafting Kenneth Walker. That's not probably a guy I'd want to take in a startup, but you know, that's the bet he wants.
Yeah, I mean, the Ken Walker pick, I would have preferred using that on a rookie pick. Obviously, I don't know what was on the board. It could have been the 204 was the highest pick available. If it was any first round draft pick, though, I think I would have rather taken that. Just going to bring up my girl, Alyssa Sable. Well, Happy New Year, gentlemen. I think she's referring to you. Scott, in my league, I traded CMC for the 101. She ended up winning the league title and trading him, and then turning around and trading the 112 for Kyron.
Yeah, we had this question, before championship week. Remember, it was just she trade CMC as the favorite to one of the other contenders. She did it, got the 101, then turned around and got Kyron Williams for a cheaper pick, and now won the league and went into the offseason with the 112 or the 101. So that's one of those where if you're real confident on understanding variance, then Alyssa smashed that trade. How awesome is it to win the championship?
Beautiful.
Yep, that same team has the 101. You know, it can't get any better than that. Well done.
I mean, that is absolutely everything going the way that it should be, but that's also trust in the process, right? You knew you could replace Christian McCaffrey. It just so happens that I believe Kyron Williams outscored him in the championship, right? Championship week.
Well, that's the week CMC left, basically was out the
right.
middle of the third quarter and only put up like 13 points, and CMC had like 26. So, or Kyron had 26. Yeah. So the variance went your way as well.
If Kyron would have scored 75% of what CMC scored, you probably would have won, and it still would have been the right move. I just started this because I did. Where did it go? Matter of fact, I didn't. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. Just bear with me. I'm not used to Clay not being here. He left us behind. Here you go. Fly Meatwad. He noted Happy Tuesday. Trades in 5 fam. Power outages happening here, but hoping they hold off for the stream. Yeah, I wanted to bring that up too because the wind's gusting pretty good out there. I was watching a tree getting ready to fall down earlier. So if I go dark at any point, it's not because I don't want to talk to you guys. It's probably because a tree is falling through my apartment complex or the electric went out, one of the two. All right. Kid Coop says a lot of talk on Marvin Harrison Jr. over Caleb if you don't need a quarterback, but not a lot of talk yet about Nabers over Caleb. I know value is greater than positional need, but a lot of these locks at QB are risky. Crazy for wanting Nabers?
No, I've been very vocal. I think Nabers is up there, wide receivers 6, 7, 8 in Dynasty. He's right there with Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson. Now, are you going to take him over those guys? Probably not, but that's probably where he's going to slot in. He's the other receiver that has almost a guarantee to go in the top 10, potentially top 5, top 6. So I definitely think he belongs in the conversation. Now, is it consensus that he's going to go over those quarterbacks? Maybe not Caleb Williams, but heck, even in the Mannequin Chill that's going to release soon that went to our patrons early. Sign up to give you a patron if you want to get Mannequin Chill early. But, we debated the Malik Nabers higher than a lot of people, 103, 104. It's not a consensus that like just 3 QBs are going to go after him. So if you're sitting there at the 105, 106 thinking I'm going to get Malik Nabers because all these QBs are going to go, may want to consider moving up a slot or two. I think you're going to need to be at 104 at least to get him in a lot of leagues. And if he lands top 5 pick with the Chargers, I mean, there's a chance he goes 102, 103, just depending on what the situation is. The weird thing is all the quarterbacks, if you go to Washington, you go to New England, you're probably going to have like a brand new regime of everything. So I think it's very hard for us to evaluate right now, like how excited we're going to be for those quarterbacks. Like there's going to be some people that if New England takes a quarterback and it's Bill Belichick and he brings back, similar guys that he's had before, like there's going to be people that they're not in on Drake May if he goes there, like I'm taking Nabers over that for sure. So yeah, I think those 2 spots are going to be defined when you're having to make the pick. That's the thing. But I definitely think Nabers belongs at the 104 at least.
Yeah. What's funny is up until we recorded that, I was pretty staunchly Caleb. I guess just Caleb. Well, Jaden Daniels over Nabers. But I was definitely of the mind that I could see taking Nabers over May. And honestly, depending on the format, and if I don't have a quarterback need and I can't trade out, I got to be honest with you. I do think I would just take Nabers, not just take. I don't mean to make it sound like that. Like you said, he's an excellent prospect. He could end up somewhere where he has the landing spot, along with the excellent draft capital, along with the excellent collegiate profile. Probably if he does anything at the combine, he'll hit all the marks there that you want to see. Sanford.
I just wanted to mention this about I see some comments in there about Marvin Harrison being 101. Should you just take him 101? I think there's a little bit of fatigue. People are scared of having to pick a quarterback that high. I think the other thing is, what is Marvin Harrison's value in your league? Because there's a lot of talk. Oh man, he's the most valuable receiver outside of Chase or Jefferson. Maybe CeeDee Lamb. That's how people talk. There's a lot of leagues that we've done Didit calls with, and they'll say, I know Marv's going 101 in my league. I can't get him. Can't get him. Especially these 10-team leagues, like not even single QBs, but 10-teamers where Marv's going 101. So here's the question. Who in here would trade? You have AJ Brown or Amon-Ra St. Brown, Shane.
Mm.
Do you trade it straight up for the 101?
Yes.
Not even thinking you trade those guys for the 101.
Not even.
Okay?
Not,
so
not
right
even
there, right there, Marvin Harrison Jr. is valued the same as like CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase.
So
that's why people are taking him 101 because they're assuming that pick is that valuable. Now, would you trade CeeDee Lamb for the 101?
I'm getting the 101.
Yes, you are giving up CeeDee Lamb. You're getting the 101. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Now, if you have to pick, you're taking Marvin Harrison, right?
Most likely.
Okay, most likely. So you're basically putting a little bit of value there because it's the flexible pick.
Yeah.
Still.
Okay. Part of that is.
Well, I mean that's the
Marvin
debate.
Harrison is different.
If you ain't so sure about Marvin Harrison, you should be able to go trade him for Jamar Chase. Straight up. You should be able to go get Jamar Chase for that pick. Now, if you go to your league, here's most likely what's going on in a lot of leagues. People are not quite ready to put it there. So you have the 101. You're assigning that value to him. But you go to the Amon-Ra St. Brown manager and they go, I don't know if I can give him up for that pick. CeeDee Lamb, I can't give him up for that pick. So the reality is there's a little fake value in this Marvin Harrison pick at 101. But that's the reason he's going at 101 because that is the one asset where I think there's people out there just saying that's the most valuable asset in the draft, period.
I'll say this. I think it's more people that are scared to trade those players for the 101 or more players that play adverse to fear, adverse to risk.
Yes, they've never seen Marvin Harrison in the NFL, so I can't trade a guy like CeeDee Lamb for him because I'm scared. What if he's not good?
I've traded for the 101 and the 102 not twice, in separate trades this week. One trade I gave up CJ Stroud. It wasn't for the 101 straight up, but those were the big pieces. Another trade I made tonight included Jamar Chase and what do you call that boy dude's name? Jahmyr Gibbs. And I got back the 102 and a couple other picks. So I'm all aboard the 101, 102 train. I'm loving the flexibility of Caleb falling to me at 102 or Harrison falling to me at 102. And I'm 100% I'm fine with drafting those players if I have to.
This is for you, Shane.
How do you win if you trade CeeDee for Marvin Harrison Jr.? One, I'm shooting upside, right? I definitely am. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is already coming in ranked above CeeDee Lamb. We did what do you call that? A mock draft on not on it, but we did it with the Overreaction podcast guys. And the 101 went before CeeDee Lamb. The 102, I believe, went before CeeDee Lamb. Either way you cut it, Marvin Harrison Jr. went before CeeDee Lamb. But also, I'm not specifically trading for Marvin Harrison. I'm trading for the pick. I'm trading for the flexibility there that I can do anything. Like it could be Caleb Williams. It could be Marvin Harrison. It could be Jaden Daniels by the time the draft rolls around.
The only thing I'll say to Trip Crown's point, once a pick is traded for CeeDee Lamb and 101 swapped in a league, there is no other trade happening with that pick. The floor has been set as to what Shane values that 101 at because he already gave up CeeDee Lamb for him. So shy of someone coming in and giving you what? One of 8 other players in Dynasty? Are you really moving that pick? Do you know what I mean?
We don't know. Lots of things I could do.
Yeah, I mean, Shane could get bored of holding that 101 for 2 months and goes, hey, what can I get for it? You know?
I mean, I got to be honest with you. Where I've traded for the 101 or have the 101 or the 102, I kind of wish I was doing a draft before the NFL draft so I could not just trade it. Yeah, there you go. Josh McAtee. Exactly. He articulated it better than I did. He took the 101 in that mock draft with Chase and CeeDee on the board. He did it for the flexibility in January. And that's the point, is it's flexible. Yes, I can say I'm taking Marvin Harrison. I could say I'm taking Caleb Williams. Either of those things could be true. Neither of those things could be true. I could be going, you know what? Is this 101 going to get any higher? Because if its market value is going to continue to increase, yes, I could just end up trading it away.
You doing this?
Would you trade Garrett Wilson and the 106 for 101? Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's an interesting deal. If you need assets, I think that's a decent deal to
That's a good split.
capitalize on the package, you know?
Definitely. That is a great deal. What's interesting, if that was the 104 or 5 because of the ability to still get a quarterback, I'd be less apt to make the deal.
Right. Forgot Terrell's comment earlier. It was up and I interrupted it. Terrell says Tuesdays are the best night of the week. Shout out to you, Terrell, for all you do for us. Thank you very much. And we agree. Tuesdays are awesome. I wanted to hit this one. You started this one for me. Shane is doing all the starring. So best ball dynasty startup. What are you looking for in a trade up, trade down? So I'm going to be doing a best ball roster construction series. It's not going to look the exact same as the lineup one, but it's going to be close. So I'm going to talk about this. I'll just say this. With best ball, there's a lot more options. With best ball, it's definitely a different animal in terms of how you're approaching your build. There's probably more opportunities to move around. But there's also times where you can get in trouble with the number of roster spots. You really have to understand math when you're playing best ball. You have to understand kind of the general ability to find production for free, which exists way more frequently in best ball because there's a limit on how many players you can roster, right? If it's 28, if it's 30, if you're telling me it's 30-man rosters, I'm telling you I can probably find a couple spike week receivers and tight ends on the waiver wire, legitimately on the waiver wire during the season. That doesn't even include the fact that it's hard to roster backup quarterbacks and backup running backs in best ball because they are zeros most of the time until they're not. Until a backup QB is starting for 2 weeks. All of a sudden, it's a waiver wire pickup. In a lineup league, what's most likely going to be rostered? The backup QBs, the backup running backs. So, and then you're doubling down by the fact that in best ball, most of the quote-unquote threshold receivers are already on teams. So any value you find from the waiver wire typically isn't going to be at wide receiver or at tight end. So I think best ball people get a little too cute with trying to like thread the needle and pick the perfect team. Whereas if it's me, I'm the one that's trying to fill out my team with just the perfect blend of as many assets as I can, and then kind of let things proceed with attrition for the rest of the league. What you'll notice is after a year or two in a best ball league, other teams now want to get the depth, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're going, oh, I have 7 picks and a roster that I literally don't have anybody I can cut. Cool. Now I can start consolidating. And guess what people want to do in best ball? Tier down. Get 2-for-1s, get 3-for-1s because it's best ball. So if you're the team that then can feed them and go, oh, sure, I'll give you these 3 pieces, but you got to give me the best player. Understanding that you're already up at capacity in terms of your rosters. So you can go just pick a player up off waivers, and it's best ball. So a random tight end or a random receiver in best ball has more value, more replacement value than even a backup QB or a backup running back in a lineup league. So I think I start by just basically trying to accumulate as many assets as I can. Year one, you may win, you may not, but I want to get to a point where I can go both ways. I can tier up or I can tier down because I have a lot to work with. So good question from Jay. Appreciate it.
I also enjoy going both ways sometimes. That's the rumor.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So I got
you are, yeah, you did. You starred the hell out of that while I was.
So we did open up super chats. John Hablock with an extremely generous super chat. Thank you, sir. He had an awesome sesh with Scott on Didit last week. He highly recommends to anyone watching. Keep it up, fellas. Love the content. I will say, first of all, appreciate you, John, very much. I know Scott does. There's just been some changes to the Didit. It's no longer unlimited for the first call. It's $25 off. I just wanted to put that out there before anyone starts dialing.
Yes. So, yeah, we'll just put it out there. Didit changed the terms on us on the fly. Didn't give us a heads up, just changed it. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of, entering an agreement with somebody. They saying it's going to be a certain way, and then all of a sudden they just say it's going to be different. But that's the reality. We still have to kind of consider, what our future is with Didit and whatnot. But now it's $25 off. So you get a free call. But I'll just tell everybody from my experience with these calls, the way I've been doing these calls, that what would it be, 10 minutes or so that you get for free, and then it bills,
that, yeah.
You over 25. That time goes quick. You think, 10 minutes, that's plenty of time to ask a question. But if you're wanting kind of like a review of your roster, or, to ask multiple questions about trades or what to do with your draft picks, like, it goes quick. So we're still doing it. It's just, after the first $25, or it's probably going to be like the first 10 minutes or so, you get billed the Didit charges at that point. So, I'm still willing to do it. It's just, we want to put it out there that, hey, just, you're going to get billed after 10, 12 minutes or whatever the calculation ends up being.
If you do the math, I think I charge $2 a minute. So 2 divided by 25 would be 12 and a half minutes. So as soon as you go to 12:31.
Well, and Didit gets a cut. So I believe our $2 a minute, they get.
Well, no, that's the total. I already looked at that's the total I do, because I wanted to just eat the number, that not for any other reason than that. But John, thank you. And I will say this, as someone that's gotten to talk to Scott for the better part of the last 5-6 years now, I think it is always a good time talking to Scott. I usually feel smarter after I talk to Scott. I'm not going to lie to you. Scott tricked me last night. We were doing a mannequin chill. He told me what the subject would be, and pitched it to me as probably take us 15 minutes. And if you know anything about me, and you can ask most of my ex-girlfriends, I like doing things quickly and getting it over with. But we ended up going 45 minutes. And I'll say this is one of our more excellent mannequin chills, and all of our patrons of the Trades in 5, they all got that first. So yeah, you should become a patron too. Anyway.
Yeah, they did. What's up, everyone? Sorry I'm late. Look at this very generous super chat from John. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I was just listening to you all. Yeah, good to see you boys. Scott, I'm digging the beard action too. Go ahead, playa. Looking good. All right, what's up, everyone? So let's go to the next starred one. Are you guys upset with me? There wasn't a single word from you there. Are you upset?
You were just talking.
No?
You were
Okay.
talking.
I was just talking. Okay. I mean, I didn't know if you were upset or
that
something.
feels like some guilty husband shit.
I mean, come on.
Like, oh,
and
I've done something wrong, so now I have to ask her what I've done wrong to see if she knows what I've done wrong.
And I've only got one thing starred. You ready? And this is what it is. Eric Peterson. Shane's running a 900 number off an iPad now. We've come full circle.
Look,
so what do I got next?
I'll say this. Look, the prices, they might have jumped on Didit, so I'll show a little more skin if that's what you require. If I have to do your roster review shirtless, bottomless, whatever.
Sounds
well,
good.
this StreamYard stuff where, anything that Shane has starred, I can't even see it all, but I'm guessing you can't see any of them, Clay. Is that correct?
I can't see anything starred. Do you have a million starred? Yeah.
Shane is going to have to drive because he's got all the stars.
I can read Shane. Thank you, man. So Ethan22 says strategy question in all caps. That's helpful for us to see. In rookie drafts or startups, if no one will give you fair value for a pick, how do you navigate drafting based on positional needs versus best player available? That's a good question. Scott, what are your thoughts?
Well, we already kind of talked about this a little bit. It's a little early to be expecting fair value because fair value is just completely biased between yourself and the person making the offer, right? So you kind of have to have some conviction on the class, or also just be willing to trade to get the pick off your roster. You know what I mean? Like it's getting the deal done is the value here. So, I mean, he mentions rookie drafts, but even in startups, I think startups is different because there's a lot of picks that cause you to, be willing to be more flexible depending on what you're getting. But rookie picks, generally, I think we're probably more valued on the rookie class than most. I think when you get to like the 106, 107, you got to try to shop that in your league. There's no interest. I mean, there's interest, but it's, I have the 106 as a top 30 player in Dynasty, and the person going, I don't. The players in that range, I'm not giving those up for the 106. That's a mystery pick. I don't know what it's going to be. So I don't see a lot of picks getting moved right now. I haven't seen one pick get traded where just a random 108 gets traded for a player, because that is both people going, what I'm getting is better than the 108, and what I'm going to get at the 108 is better than what I just traded. That's conviction, and there's not a lot of conviction in Dynasty. And I think largely that's because of people like us. Process. Do not move that pick right now unless it's a clear win for you. Why are you moving that pick?
Yeah. Why are we moving?
And if you have a great asset, Why am I moving a proven asset for a random 106? You know what I mean? So I just don't see a lot of trades like that.
You want to know what hurts my soul? And this is how I know I'm too tied to
Definitely.
process. But there's a bunch of things, but this specifically today, I ran my my rostership after I've cut down my leagues, and I'm down to something like 28 leagues, and I go, ooh, AJ Brown, Chris Olave, and Puka Nacua all over 25%. That's too much. I got to move some of these dudes. And that's all I've been thinking about all day, which hurts my soul because I love all three of those wide receivers. But anyway.
I love it how that's what you were thinking about all day. It's like, man, I'm too overweight. 3 fantasy football players. So the Soup Kitchen asks, when is the time to start getting running backs? I'm assuming it's too early now. I've been thinking about this a lot lately.
No, I mean, I keep telling people, go buy Devin Singletary, go buy Raheem Mostert if his price is dropped, go buy, probably not Zamir White because people are still in on him. But like, if I can buy a running back for a decent price right now, depending on who it is, I'm okay doing it.
Man, I see that's the thing, the vagueness of if their prices have dropped. I do not want to buy a non-top 8 running back unless it's for a third or less. So all those players in the mid-round range, like, hey, I'll give you Rashad White for the 201, not interested. I'll give you Devin Singletary for the 302, not interested. Like, it's got to be something where I'm essentially building the running back room for free. What I'll buy is I'll buy James Conner for a third. I'll buy the guys that have been proven over and over and over, but I'll buy them at the poverty prices, the prices of they're not going to get a job. You know what I mean? I'm not buying Zach Moss for a third. There's going to be 50 Zach Mosses that come available for the thirds, for the fourths, off freaking waivers. So I'm not going and picking out specific guys. And Moss and Singletary come up a lot on shows that I hear. Oh, man, buy those guys because look what they did this year. The reality is they're Jags. They're guys. There's 50 of them in the league. There's random backups that have never done anything that could easily usurp one of those guys. It's like I have no conviction on guys in the Zach Moss, Singletary. Like, I have no conviction in that range, and I just don't want to give up.
Well, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Can you stop putting Devin Singletary and Zach Moss in the same? They are not the same. You just talked about James Conner.
It's a new season. It's a new season.
James Conner
Singletary's been a bad running back his whole career until this year.
You're a bad running back. Devin Singletary has a proven track record of fantasy success every season of his career as soon as he's given the opportunity, and it'll happen again.
Blindly, Shane, what would you pay to add? Because here's the thing. If you're too high on a guy like Singletary, Shane's going to have him in 20 leagues. What would you pay, Shane?
I'll pay a third.
Pay a third. Yeah.
Didn't I just say
Let me ask you this. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Here's a different type of player. Okay. Austin Eckler, Scott, Austin Eckler or the 203 12-team Superflex?
I want the poverty price. The price is he sucks. He's not. Here's the question. Why is Austin Eckler better than, why is Austin Eckler better than Devin Singletary? As soon as you start charging me the 203, I'm going, let me go buy the guy for the third. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want to build running back rooms, but I see in startups, people will take, Saquon Barkley in the 5th or startup and then Nick Chubb in the 8th. You know what I mean? Like, I understand taking your shots, but it just feels like there's just no reason to buy them unless it's a very specific good deal. And I'm probably looking for like one buy of a guy like Eckler. And it's probably not the 203. I'm probably going, okay, is there going to be 10 other opportunities where I can get one cheaper? It's like, I just have no conviction at running back. And it's a hard position to have conviction at because it's all over the map.
I wouldn't call giving up a third conviction. I'm like you were saying, poverty prices.
He said 203. He said 203.
Oh, no,
we're not clear. No. I know we've come a long way. Koopsky has a quick $5 super chat. Thank you very much for the Trades in 5 Thruples counseling fund. we do need our counseling is on the live streams. It's a good time. We all get together and have fun. Thank you, Koopsky. MJ said Clay's late. He should be fined. I mean, I guess I could find myself. Or Shane and Scott could somehow find me.
Or you could just respond to a trade offer that I sent to you 3 weeks ago in Hammers.
What's the offer? Tell the crowd.
It's 104 for Tyreek Hill. You get Tyreek Hill.
Am I a trash can in that league?
No, you were in the playoffs, I believe.
No, I wasn't. No, I
Okay.
don't think I was.
That's
You
not
can
enough.
withdraw. You can withdraw it.
No, you do the honorable thing and you reject it.
You take it. I'll do the honorable thing. I'll do it right now. Let's read up. Sorry, did you want that other one up?
Yeah, I was
Whoever
going to
clicked
get
on
this
that?
one because I
Go
know
for
you
it.
guys can't see them. So just going to throw this one up. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all. Shimmy, yam. Shimmy, yay.
So Shimmy says, Zag time. Vrabel fired. New regime coming in. Do we pivot onto or off of Levis now before the draft? Titans pick at number 7.
Well, I guess my question back for what is it? Shimmy, whatever. What can you get for Will Levis? What's the pivot off of? I'll give you Kenny Pickett in a third. You interested?
Oh, no.
Is there anyone in your league going, man, I'd really love to buy that Will Levis?
Well, who's like a positional, like cross positional? Like what about Jaden Reed or Will Levis?
You're not
Jaden
getting
Reed
a
by a
good
lot.
receiver.
You're not going to get
Nope.
anything worthy. Yeah.
You know what you can do with Will Levis if you want to make a big bet? That's probably the type of guy you go try to trade for a running back.
Not Austin.
Someone thinks they're getting Will Levis or James Cook.
I'll take James Cook all day.
Like that type of range of running back where I think people are confident, but not, they know they can't just go easily flip for a first. Like, I think that's how you have to get rid of Levis. As soon as you go, hey, I'm willing to trade Will Levis for a rookie pick, people are sending you 210, 212. Is that the cash out price you'd be willing to take? Process says if you don't believe Will Levis is starting, take the damn 210. You know, because people don't already like him.
Yeah.
If he's not starting, you're lucky to get anything for him. So I think it's easy to say, yeah, pivot off, but what for what?
Zachary Skeens, thank you for the super chat. 12-team Superflex start 11. He's got the 104, and he says hopefully Nabers or Breece, ? Also Kyron or the 105. So let's start with this. 12-team Superflex start 11, the 104 or Breece.
I'd take the 104. I'd take the 105. It's not even close. I'm not giving any first for Kyron Williams. I'm just not buying running backs. It's ridiculous to start giving up premier top 5 picks for running backs. No way.
MJ earmuffs. Where are you at on this one, Shane? 104 or Breece?
I also have the 105, so I can get fancy.
I mean, you can get fancy.
Well,
Shane.
I'll have the 105 after I trade Kyron, right? So here's what I'll probably do. I'll trade Kyron for the 105. Then I'll accept the trade for Breece because I do want a little more Breece in my life. Is that the smart move? No, it's not the smart move. But you know what? I'm going to tell myself Breece is going to be my anchor back. Assuming he doesn't blow out any more ACLs, I'm going to be in pretty good shape with him.
Yeah, Shane hit on a perfect point. You need to look at your roster construction, and if you truly need an anchor running back, that's the only acceptable time to give up a top 5 pick for Breece Hall, period. If you go, oh, well, all I have is also have Travis Etienne. I'm not trading the 104 for Breece Hall.
No.
I'm just not.
No.
You're already in, if you have Bijan or Gibbs or McCaffrey, like I don't care how good of a deal it is. I'm not buying Breece Hall. It's got to be in the 108, 109, 110 range. Nobody's selling him for that. So it has to be roster construction dependent. If you go, my best running backs are Zach Moss and Devin Singletary, and you want an anchor, then there you go.
Yeah, no, I agree. Nothing to add. So Aria says, how did it call? Thank you for the super chat. With Clay today, he made sure I wasn't billed. Appreciate the honesty. Turn the 104 and Kirk into the 102 from his advice. Okay, so yes. The fact that he could have pulled this off though himself, like kudos to you. But yeah, it was an awesome call. We talked all through his roster and it came up with the idea of he's got the 101. We wanted to put Marv on the team. It's like trade up, get the 102 and just take Caleb. So yeah, kick ass. Congrats. But yeah, Christian Kirk had the juice to move from 104 to 102. It's bonkers. It's not like it was super deep.
Impressive, and I am impressed.
Yeah, keep trading with that person. Okay, let's go to Andrew. Thank you for the super chat. 12-team Superflex start 10, 1.5 for tight ends. Lamar Jackson and God, who's K1? Is that Kyler?
Kyler.
Okay. Lamar Jackson, Kyler, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Zay Flowers, 101 and 110, bunch of little stashes. Excuse me. What should I do with these picks? Love Caleb. Trade Lamar Jackson for Chase in a 25-second. Look at this writing. Was Andrew trying to like mess me up? He's using a dollar symbol as an and.
Love
what do you
Caleb.
think, Shane?
Trade LJ for Chase and 25-second for what?
For Chase in a 25-second.
Trade Lamar Jackson.
Correct.
It's basically Marvin Harrison and Lamar Jackson, or Jamar Chase and Caleb Williams.
No, it's Lamar Jackson and
Marvin Harrison, right? Because he already had.
Yes.
Well, here his idea is he's considering drafting Caleb Williams, so he wants to get away from Lamar Jackson because he said he loves Caleb. I'd rather have Lamar and Marvin Harrison, but if you love Caleb Williams and you want Jamar Chase and Caleb Williams instead of Lamar and Marvin Harrison, go for it. I mean,
yeah, that confused the living hell out of me. I'm still not sure I understand the question, so I'm going to agree with Scott. I could go either way. I mean, look,
Shane, if you have Lamar and Kyler and you have the 101,
yes,
but you just have a affinity for Caleb Williams, but you don't want to draft Caleb when you already have Kyler and Lamar.
No, that's
so you're trying to get Jamar Chase for Lamar.
Then I would add Chase to that. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yes.
Nice. Okay, so Demo, thank you for the super chat. 12 team start 10, traded Bijan and a third for the 103 and Spears. Team is Bryce, Swift, Spears, James Cook, JSN, Tank, Kincaid. He's got the 101, 103, 105, 112. Take Marvin Harrison Jr. at 1 and QB at 3.
I want to give Demo a round of applause here because he identified that he already has DeAndre Swift, Tajay Spears, James Cook. He got a good pick for Bijan. That's about as good as you're going to get for Bijan right now. And you got Spears back in the deal. Like, getting him is basically a throw-in.
Yeah.
Like, I like this trade regardless of what you do going forward. This is one where you go, all right, I already got Swift, James Cook, and I'm adding Spears. I can live with that running back room. And now you've added the 103 where you're going to essentially have a lot of leverage to determine, do you want to take another receiver? You want to draft the QB? You're going to get your choice. You know, other than one player, you're going to get your choice of everybody else. May, Jaden Daniels, Nabers, Bowers. If you want to trade Kincaid, you could do the same thing with Kincaid. Trade Kincaid. Take Bowers. I mean, that good deal, though. Getting beat. We talked about this in the morning drive a couple weeks ago. Like, if you can get a top 3 pick for Bijan, like, goodbye.
Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Don't care.
Are there any running backs, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, that you wouldn't trade for 104? For the 104?
No, we already talked about Breece Hall. If someone's coming to me with one of those picks,
so specific. I would have to be a hammer team already, and I happen to have the 104 as well. It's
like I'm stuffed everywhere.
Yeah,
I have quarterbacks grown out of my ass, and I have picks next year. Sure, but under normal circumstances, I don't think there's a running back alive that I would trade the 104 for.
So I have a league where at the end of the year, in week 16, I traded the 112, who ended up being my own first, and I got back Tyler Lockett, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones in a second. So just the guy was like, give me all these hammers off my team. Now, I'm not saying those guys are hammers, but now I looked at my roster today and I have Jahmyr Gibbs. So I had an anchor already, right? But then I look at my bench and I have Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery. I don't need Jahmyr Gibbs on that team, right? But guess the only running back I can even conceivably trade in that league is who? Jahmyr Gibbs. So I'm willing to go fine. I'll live with Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, and Josh Jacobs, and I'll move Gibbs.
I mean, the deal. So here's the deal I just made with Larry Monkey. And I had to make the offer because it was a sensible trade. Otherwise, it wouldn't have fucking happened. But I gave up Jamar Chase. And
he just realized what he did. He realized that he had that he cursed there. Yeah, you didn't hold that one back. Go ahead. I'm sorry, as you were, sir.
It's a medical condition. It's I have Tourette's. It's self-diagnosed, but I saw it on WebMD, so it's probably true. But I gave up Jamar Chase and Jahmyr Gibbs, excuse me, for the 102, the 106, and the 112. And the way I worked it out in my brain is the 102 is Chase, the 106, and the 112 is Gibbs. The 106 is a little lower than I would have liked. I would have preferred the 105, but I couldn't make that happen.
Yeah, I just saw in the chat here, no more super chats from the Bill Willicheks. No, they are turned back off. But thank you for everyone who gave them. So, all right, we've got a couple starred here. Shane or Scott, if you can add more if we have them. But I see Eric's super sticker here. Thank you very much. It's a 10-team super flex. What's wrong, Shane? Why are you still like?
No, because there's still ones you
something
can't.
wrong.
No, there's still ones you can't
Okay.
see that
Got
I'll
it.
share after this.
Got it. By the way, 462 people in here, and it's been up close to 5 at a couple spots. Let's kick ass. Thank you for joining.
Strong.
Hit that like.
Strong viewership. Nice.
It's awesome. So, Eric, thanks for the super sticker. It's 10-team super flex, half PPR, start 12. Good for you. 103 and JSN for the 101. And he's got Marv penciled in there.
Yes.
Marv sharpied in there for 10 team. Scott, you doing this? 103 and JSN for Marv.
You could get Nabers at 103 too.
Yeah, if Nabers is there, I think I might be willing to go JSN and Nabers for Marv. That's at least fair. If you really go, I want a Marv share, then this is probably the price you got to pay. But I could also see in a start 12. I know it's a 10-teamer, but in a start 12, somebody's like, I'm willing to take the 2 pieces. And not even that, I don't think we love JSN, but I think you could still move JSN.
As I look at this start 12, and as I came out of my mouth and I said, that's Nabers and JSN, I'm going to take over Marv in this format. I think. This is fun. This is fun. I'll say
How much does half PPR play into that?
Dude, I've told you, I've looked at the scoring for half PPR only after JJ Zacharyson told me to. Specifically me, not just everyone that listens to that specific podcast episode. Doesn't make it much of a difference.
But that's if you have a hammer. So,
the
real difference is that running back scoring is down in the middle ranges. So it's not as impactful than half PPR either. So there's a lot more running backs that are compacted in there, but the receivers still are king if you look at the war.
Here, let me get this one. This one's from early, and it said strategy, so it caught my eye.
So his YouTube handle name is not sure what to put, which is, I get that a lot. Strategy question. Are you more inclined to buy players not in the playoffs this time of year because you know the injury risk is gone? That's a good question. Whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
I mean, it's definitely something that's in the back of your mind, You're paying a premier pick for AJ Brown and, he blows a knee or something like that. I mean, it's in the back of your mind if you're trading for a player that is still in the fantasy playoffs or in the NFL playoffs. Now, the odds of them suffering a season-altering injury for next year is probably extremely low. But I won't lie, it's been in the back of my mind, too, before I make a deal. Like, yeah, man, do I really want to buy a guy, especially a guy that if something were to happen, the value plummets?
Exactly.
Do I really want to buy Tony Pollard for a second? When that's a guy that if he gets injured, could go to zero. Nobody wants him because he hasn't been that good, and then he's injured in the offseason. So, yeah, I'm a little wary. I definitely think that's in the back of my mind for sure.
Yeah, I think about it. But it's just a brief passing thought. I wouldn't be buying a running back now anyway, though. So it really doesn't matter if the running back's playing or not. But, look, could be a Sam Laporta thing, right? Dude goes out there, gets injured, although he wasn't seriously injured. He's just going to miss a game. But,
Shane, I was on my deathbed last week, but I did listen, and I heard you saying you'd give up the 107 for Kyron Williams.
I'll give up the 107. Well,
you just said you won't buy a running back this time of year.
Well,
no, we have a TikTok that we
101, 102, 103, 104, 105, no, 106, no, 107. We'll start to think about it. I could see buying Kyron.
So I think though, like if we're thinking of the same part where Scott was on his deathbed, I think it was a format where Kyron made a lot of sense with the 107. It was something shallow and a super flex. Yeah, I don't know if I do that right now.
Yeah, I hear you.
So this is a good comment here that was just started. Scott beat the illness. Dynasty Trades and 5 viewers beat their league mates. Sorry, I'm too late to super. Wanted to tribute you 3. Appreciate that. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, strategy question from Luke. 12-team Superflex, start 11, 1.75 tight end premium. Fields, Watson, and then any QB or RB, so not much there. Olave, Ayuk, Higgins, Hawkinson, and Kraft at tight end. He's got the 101, 103, 107, 201. With such a trash team, would it be bad to do 2-for-1s like Higgins and the 107 for a wide receiver 1? What do you think, Scott?
I mean, wide receiver 1s is broad.
Let's say
that are available.
With this trash can team, would you give Higgins and 107 for, call it AJ Brown, if your team is this trash canny, as he says?
I mean, that's more of just I have the asset AJ Brown now, but I don't know if that even gets it done. You know what I mean? The person with AJ Brown's probably not accepting that, but that also wouldn't be the type of deal I'd be looking for. Because then if I have AJ Brown, I'd be going, all right, what can I get for AJ Brown? Can I get Malik Nabers in a first? But the problem is you've set the precedent on the trade already. So to turn around and think you're going to be able to pivot and split AJ Brown, I don't know.
And doing 2-for-1s in a 12-team start 11, where he's already thin and rebuilding, I'm not trying to give up 2-for-1. There's probably other priorities, right?
Well, he's got the 101.
Yeah, he's got the 101,
and the 103. So I mean, and you got Olave, Ayuk, Higgins. I mean, I'm okay with the foundation that he has. He's just probably trying to figure out, okay, do I want to go get a stud quarterback? Because his quarterbacks could be a little shaky. Could be good. That's the thing. Like, you kind of have a roster that you could squint and say it's okay, but there's some pieces that are a little shaky.
Yeah, this is a fun team though. A lot of assets. You can go a lot of different
pieces.
Ways.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Chris Cordova asks, what are your thoughts on Nico for the 24 season? Does Tank Dell play a factor? Potentially draft another wide receiver, contract extension. If you could trade Nico, what should you be looking for in return?
I want the 108 or better for
yeah,
Nico.
That's what I was gonna say. In a vacuum, 108 or Nico.
I'm taking Nico. So apparently I want the 107 or better for Nico.
yeah.
I could go either way with that. I think Nico's a guy you want to have some shares of, but I also think the community is going to see him as very volatile one way or the other. Like, he's the loser if they draft a receiver or trade for a receiver or sign a receiver. That doesn't mean he's the loser on the field. Like, he can still produce, but that's how the perception will be. So I'm not rushing to go trade draft picks for him right now.
Mm-hmm. You want to put another one up, Shane?
I mean, I guess I got to do everything today. I'm like the producer.
I know.
Here, Justin Coots claims to have a theory question.
Justin Coates? You read that as Coots.
It's 10 o'clock at night. My what do you call these things?
Eyeballs.
Those, but the things that go on top of them, the
eyelids.
Nope. That's the things to help you see. Contacts.
Oh, as everybody in the crowd gets dumber.
Contacts have been in for 15 hours now. It's getting a little.
I gotcha. So Justin, we'll call him Justin Coots. Theory question: 12-team Superflex start 10. I have the 101 and 105. Another manager has the 102, 3, and 4. We each have one top 12 quarterback. Should I take Marvin Harrison Jr. 101 and force other managers' hand to take 3 straight QBs?
So it's a start 10. Each have. I kind of like it to go Marvin, force his hand till he'll leave me a QB.
Yeah, I think so too. I would bank that there's going to be a QB there at 105. That's what I'm going to do. Whether it's somebody trading into those spots or not, I don't think it's going to go Marvin. Then,
well, you've also created a situation where if you're willing to trade up from 105 to 104 and give the guy anything, he's probably going to be like, all right, I'll take the 2 QBs I want. I'll let you have the third, and then I'll still have the 105. Give me a third.
Yeah.
So I think that's one, because you have the 105, you're kind of pushing the pressure to him, but he should also be willing to literally trade back that one spot for very cheap, because he probably doesn't want to make 3 QBs. And if he passes on a QB, he hands you one. So.
Yeah, and I think there's only going to be more and more steam when we're talking about top 5, top 6 picks. So I'd want to get that done now if possible. See if we can work out some sort of swap before I lose any more leverage. Okay.
Can you say any more or no?
I can only see this. Does Scott have a lascivious take?
Iosova.
Iosova?
Yeah.
Yoshivas?
Yoshivas. I wasn't even going to read it.
It is Yoshivas. I have a Yoshivas take. Yeah, he's a roster clogger.
So Zach Thielbar, thank you for the super chat. It's a 12-team Superflex, start 10 PPR, have the 105, 108, and 109. How do I maximize my pick value to balance trading them for players versus a rookie? Justin Herbert, Bryce Young, Derek Carr, Ken Walker, Javonte, Olave, Waddle, Debo, Jaden Reed, Christian Kirk, Cooper, Amari Cooper, and Pitts. Is there another part here, Shane? Is this it?
That was it.
All right, cool. What do you think here? 12-team Superflex, start 10.
Here's what I would do, because you are in the range, especially 108 and 109, where it's like no man's land. No one knows how to value those picks yet. So you have to be probably flexible with what you accept. I would just put it out there that all these picks are available. Let people come to you with what they're willing to pay.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any conviction, sure, you want to go buy Nico Collins or George Pickens or, anybody that you think is attainable, sure, send the offer. But I think generally you just let people know these picks are available. See what they send you. But be prepared for 5 offers that are 20% or more below what you want. Because someone's going to look at the 109 and go, Clay, what the hell am I getting at the 109? Why would I give you something proven for the 109? The 109 is not proven.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is, do you guys ever do a situation, or would you want to do a trade where you're giving up the 108 and 109? You're going ahead and just offloading them both because that could be seen as attractive to the other manager, when in reality, like you just said, what is that pick even really worth?
So I'll give you Devonte Adams and what could be a high 25 first, because I have a kind of middling team for both picks. Would you do it?
So
it's not a clear playoff team.
Good,
if it's middle of the pack, you're willing to bet against my first next year, it could miss the playoffs. Would you do it?
I'm not doing that. I don't think. I'm looking around first. Let's say there's a conversation there, but that doesn't make me want to do it.
Well, but I'm sitting here going, I'm giving you a first next year that's better than either one you're giving me. But you're willing to have to give me essentially a first for a player that I probably can't get a first for. So what would you accept, Clay?
Yeah, I guess the problem is the Devonte Adams aspect of that for me. It just has.
I make it Diggs. You do it?
Diggs. So I'm getting Diggs and what could be a nice 25 first. I'm giving the 108
it's a
and
25 first. You don't dismiss my team when you look at it. You're willing to go, that could be an attractive pick. Would you do it?
I'm not sure. Honestly. I could make a that wouldn't be my first move. Shane, what do you think? Were you paying attention?
I stopped listening.
Shane, which side are you taking, Shane? Stephon Diggs and a 25 first that is mid at worst, or the 108 and a 109?
So we were going through these names last night. I'm going to go Diggs in that pick, 25 first.
Yeah.
Look, we know historically the 1-0 as you get later in the first round, the worse the hit rate is for those draft picks. We just know that. That's a fact. It's just like the world is flat. There's no doubt about it. So I'm going to go ahead and grab Diggs, who had a down year, but still was one of the few players. I believe he was at 30% target share, but definitely above 25% target share. One of 19 wide receivers. Not a lot of them, just 19 of them. I still believe Diggs will be a wide receiver 1 following year, and then I'll get a 25 first out of it. And I'll do my best to kneecap Scott next year too, somehow. I don't know how I'll do that so I can make his pick worse, but we'll see what we can do there.
I'm doing that trade. The fact that you have the 105 too. Sorry, go ahead, Scott.
No, I think this is the conundrum. If you have these 108, 109, 110 picks, if I told you, hey, are you interested in moving those picks? But you cannot get a top 50 asset in the trade. You will not have access to a top 50 player. You have 2 picks, though. They're flexible. They're in the range where you're like, you're going to get a good prospect, but it's not a pick you're like super confident I'm going to get a great player. So you're going to have to go fishing in that range of like below the top 50 players. Now, there's good players in there. We could look at the list and you'd be like, yeah, that's a good player. That's a good player. But you're just not moving picks like that for a premier piece. So you're going to have to be willing to accept a pretty square deal, like the Diggs in the 25 first. You're going to have to take some risk to move the picks. And it just feels like the people with the picks just don't want to do that right now. Why would they do that now? They have a couple months to think about it.
Give the 108 and 109 for the, start high, but 103, 104, move on up. That's another option. Okay.
All right.
Did we help Zach enough?
Yeah. Yeah, but nope, skip that. Caleb, sorry. Caleb wants to know when my OnlyFans is dropping.
Let me tee you up. These are gold for me. So Caleb, thank you for the super sticker. He asks, when's Shane dropping the OnlyFans? Much needed.
Look, all I know is I saw on Twitter that we shouldn't support OnlyFans anymore. I'm not sure why. I didn't read any further into it, but now I'm vehemently opposed to OnlyFans because I'm sure there's some.
So anymore? So you're currently a supporter?
I'm going to cancel probably some of my OnlyFans subscriptions. Some of them. I just get OnlyFans for the articles.
Let's go to Akil Gadwa. I probably jacked up your name. Thank you for the super chat. How soon would you take Brock Bowers in a super flex start 10 tight end premium? I'm interested in your strategies for tight end premium leagues. Okay, if he's still Akil, if you're still in the crowd, what's the tight end premium and how many teams in this league? But Scott, let's say it's a 10 team start, 12 team start 10 super flex. It's a 1.5.
Don't care about the premium. Here's my rule of thumb. If you're going to draft Brock Bowers, you build around Brock Bowers. If you already have Sam Laporta on the team, I wouldn't give up any first for Brock Bowers. I don't want multiple tight ends on my roster. I want 2 tight ends, period. So a lot of people that don't have a good tight end, I'm fine taking Brock Bowers wherever he's going to go. 106, 105, that's okay. The bet you've made is you are betting on a positional advantage. What I don't want to do is I go, man, I have Sam Laporta, but Brock Bowers has fallen to the 108. I should snag him for the value. That's not the way that it works. Just because you have him now, what's his value? Your league has let him fall to the 108.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do? Turn around and get more for him? You know what I mean? Like I'm fine betting on Bowers at any spot. This is something I've changed my tune on over the last year or two. I am fine drafting him in a non-PPR. But you know what? That's your bet. You don't roster 4 more tight ends because you're not worried he's ready right away. He's your starter day one.
Yeah.
So just roster construct around that bet of Brock Bowers and go for it. Because he could be great. He could be great. And I'm going to wish I would have drafted a couple. But I'm not going to put him on teams where I go, oh, man, the value is too good. Because unless you're a stud tight end, there's really no value in tight end.
Yeah. For me, tight end is a league economy thing. That's pretty much it. League economy and roster construction. Okay, so yeah, Soup Kitchen says 1.74 tight end premium would have been cooler. Nice comment from Jason. Love Dynasty Trades in 5. You guys are the Dynasty Goats. Appreciate it. Dustin DeKoning. I would love to hear him say his own name. I normally say Koning. 10 team.
DeKong. The
Probably.
ING is silent. So it's just DeKong.
Thank you for the super chat, Dustin. So it is a 10-team start 10 super flex, half PPR, Khalil Herbert, leading with Khalil Herbert, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Anthony Richardson, Bijan, Achane Swift, Chase Olave, Keenan Allen, Godwin, Diojon, Ridley, Reed, Dotson at wide receiver, Kittle, Ferguson at tight end. And he has a 25-second. Likely adding an extra flex in the offseason. Any obvious moves to make in the offseason? What do you think? Whoever's ready.
I'm looking at Shane. I've taken like 5 in a row. Come on, Shane. You got this.
His what are they? His eyelids,
his obvious
eyeballs
moves,
are
his
fried.
obvious moves is we're trying to sell Bijan. We're probably trying to sell a chain. If anyone will buy Swift off me for a first, I'm trying to sell him. Can I tear up from Olave? That hurts my soul. Can I find someone in my league that's a Shane that is going to basically disregard the 2023 season and say that Olave is still going to be a top 5 wide receiver next year? See if we can tear up from him. I got to be honest with you. Where's my picks? I'm also not opposed to seeing if I add something to Herbert, how high can I get at the quarterback position? Although I don't even really need to. I have A-Rich. I'm probably going to look to move Herbert or Kyler, whichever gets the best return for me. I will need a quarterback back in that deal. It doesn't need to be a particularly good one, just one that plays football.
Do you agree, guys? There's too much value tied up in QB in a 10-team Superflex?
It is.
10-teamer, I want at least 3 or 4 good QBs because I'm not. Here's the thing: backups are useless in a 10-teamer. This is not in 10-team. I do not want to stash all the backups. So if I can have a triumvirate of 3 QBs like Kyler, A-Rich, Herbert, boom, should never need to go to my bench ever. So unless I can move one of those for Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, fine. But like, you're probably not going to do that in a 10-team. 12-team, I don't need all 3, right? I can roster backups. I can, because the war gets diluted across the league and the backup QBs become more viable. But if I was going to do like a 10-team roster construction series, you don't need to carry Tommy DeVito and Mason Root. Like, you don't want to carry the backups there. They mean nothing. You know, people can't really trade backups for thirds and stuff in a 10-teamer. There's just no scarcity. So I love his. The one thing I wouldn't mess with is his QB room.
Yeah.
You want to sell Bijan, A-Chain, sure, but I'm just not messing with the QB room there.
I like his team. I'm not messing with it too much. I mean, if Bijan and A-Chain are going to score points, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind tearing down off of one of them, but this team, it doesn't have picks for a reason. It's a powerful team, young enough with Chase and Olave. If he didn't have one of those two and he had all of those, you know, inflexible assets, then that's one thing.
Look,
I like it.
Me and Scott are going to have a philosophical difference about this until we're both dead. And if Scott goes before me, I will say a couple words at his viewing about how he wasted quarterback value on his bench. And if he goes, but the more likely option is I'll go before him. So when you come to my cremation service, you know, when we're spreading my ashes over some dumpster or Dunkin' Donuts, more likely, Scott can say a few words about how I was wrong. One more, couple more.
That was morbid.
They spread his ashes at his local Dunkin'
Donuts, and they'll tell them, just go in and throw my ashes at them. It's Philly, so people just throw things at people anyway. They're used to it. Irish Jedi 423. What up, Irish Jedi?
I got this. Thank you. Appreciate the super chat. 12-team Superflex start 11. Have the 102 this year. The 101 is going to take a QB. I want Marvin Harrison Jr., but I also know the 103 needs a QB too. Trade down a spot. What should I ask for from the 103 to move up one spot? Well,
I'll just say this. If you know you're getting Marv at 103, you just take what you can get. You're probably going, oh man, I know you need that QB, but you don't really want to draft a QB. What can I take? What will you offer me that's fair, but I'm also not going to go, I need a first. You know what I mean? Give me a random second. I would do it. But I also want to be sure that he's not taking Marvin Harrison Jr. because then I traded down for no reason.
Yep.
Shane's now just getting to the question. So I'm very busy. I'm multitasking. Here's my only concern, right? And I've noted this to a couple other people, like, is someone else can jump me too at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like he's telling you, oh, no, I'm not taking Marvin Harrison at the 102. No way am I going to do that. I'm definitely moving up for a quarterback. And then next thing you know, here comes Shane and he's like, you are. And he's trading up to the 102 and he takes Marvin Harrison or she. And then all of a sudden, all your plans that you put together are all kaplooey. And then what do you do next? That's my only concern, really.
Yeah. Okay, let's move to Log. Thank you for that super chat. Thank you for yours, Log. 1 of 2, 12-team Superflex start 10. Lamar, Bryce, Pierce. Which Pierce is this? What is this? Damian Pierce?
It's probably Pierce because he listed him with the running backs. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Lamar, Bryce, Damian Pierce, Chase Brown, Canders, Waddle, Higgins, Smitty, Quentin Johnston, J-Mo, Palmer, Andrews at quarterback, along with Otten. Has the 107, 203, 206, and 4 thirds. Trade Lamar, Mark Andrews, and Smitty for Jefferson and the 103. Probably would take May or Daniels, he asks. Can you flip it back, Shane?
Interesting deal. So Lamar Andrews and Devontae Smith for Justin Jefferson and the 103. Shane, you doing that? Let's just say for purposes of this, Jefferson and Lamar Jackson cancel each other out. I'd probably prefer Lamar, but let's just say they cancel each other out.
Okay.
Mark Andrews and Devontae Smith for
The 103.
the 103. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I do that.
He doesn't say anything about the tight end premium, does he? So just
Yeah, and you know, he does note he probably would take May or Daniels. I'm not even thinking that far ahead. I'm just thinking the pure value of it. It's about right for me. Yeah, I would do that.
Even with Bryce Young and Lamar as your two QBs, totally fine with doing that.
Yeah, I like it.
I could also see the appeal on the other side there too.
Yeah, I kind of like the Lamar side.
You're getting 3 starters, and one of them's getting, one of them's Lamar. So I can kind of, it's a fair trade. I can see where the person that's getting the 3 is like, that just made my team a lot better.
See, that's how a trade's supposed to go down, though. If you've got Lamar Jackson and Justin Jefferson in a trade, that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have the big boys in there, and then a 103 is mixed in there as well. Like you're trading studs, be getting stuff like that in return. Okay. Yeah, and Log said no tight end premium. Okay. Do we have another one, or is that it?
Last question. I don't know who started this. Scott?
Yeah. 270 videos says, speaking of a QB hoard, I have Kyler, Lamar, Burrow, Herbert, Love, and Anthony Richardson in a 12-team best ball superflex. Finished second place in points and wins and lost the championship. How many QBs is the ideal number? Scott, roster construction in a 12-team superflex best ball. We don't know total roster size and all.
Yeah, more details needed, but this is something that Ray and I are going to talk about. We're going to be launching a new series that's going to be talking war, best ball, a lot of stuff coming. But this is one of those where you're actually hurting yourself in best ball by having this many QBs. I probably want to have 4. 4 is like the perfect number when I have them this strong. But 6, this is one where you definitely want to be going, all right, what skill player can I get for 2 of them? And the cool thing about best ball is any of the 6 I can trade. I don't care which ones I have, Give me 4 of these guys. I can still pick up a backup if I need one, but I saw this a ton in best ball this year, especially with all the quarterback injuries. You get down the stretch into the playoffs the last couple weeks, you would see teams, and I'm guilty of it. I had leagues where I'm rostering Flacco, Browning, Mullins. I have 6 quarterbacks. And the bias in your head goes, well, 5 of them are Bailey Zappi, Easton Stick, Mullins, Browning, Flacco, and maybe I have Tua.
Right.
And I'm sitting there going, well, all of mine suck, so I need 6. But you know how many times you look and you go, damn, Flacco, Browning, and Mullins all scored 30 points. And guess what? One of them's on my bench. You just don't need that many QBs in best ball. 4 is probably the magic number, 5 at most. But there were times where I was getting up at a 6, 7, 8 because I don't want anybody else to have them. And then I look at my team and I go, damn, I wish I had another running back or 2 that could crack my lineup. Because I have 3 quarterbacks on my bench that put up 20 points. And then I have an 8 at running back. And then I'm losing.
Yeah, right.
So you just got to explore trades. But, I mean, come on. Those 6 QBs on one team, that's like 6 in the top 12.
Yeah. Okay. So no other start apparently. 451 people in here. Yeah, that's it for the evening, I suppose. Thanks so much for joining. What a crowd here. What a crowd. I'm glad to see people didn't leave as soon as I came in. Sorry for being late again, but I'm sure you boys crush it. I'm looking forward to listening to the first 30 minutes. I love listening back. So yeah, thanks to everyone in the crowd. Anybody want to say goodbye? Say goodbye to our tribe.
Dude, welcome back to everyone that abandoned us during the season. But I appreciate you. You've come during the time to learn, to grow, to experience new things, to take what we've learned from last year. I'm happy to see everyone back, and I'm happy that everyone hopefully had a good new year. And if you didn't, well, I hope that tomorrow's better than yesterday.
Well said, Shane. Happy New Year to everybody. Off season's the funnest part of the year where it feels like you can kind of sit back and digest what happened and not have to worry about injuries and everything that's just moving day to day. Like there's a couple days where I'm able to kind of go, man, I didn't listen to a ton of Dynasty content today or anything. I just, kind of let things be. I didn't stay on Twitter for 3 hours checking out every injury and practice reports and all that kind of stuff. So it's refreshing. So I'm really looking forward to this offseason and this draft.
Yeah. FJ says, my question got skipped over. No, let me just throw this in there too. So Mannequin Chill, if you are not a patron, you can look forward to that on Thursday, likely Thursday or Friday. But yeah, the patrons in our Discord, they got the full version. So picks 1 through 12 of a Mannequin Chill Scott and Shane recorded last night, and the public is only getting picks 1 through 4 this week on Thursday. Just saying, not to be too salesy, but check out our Patreon. We think you'll love it. I think you'll love the Discord. Patreon.com/all gas. Look at our DTI 5 tier on there. We also have a Heisman tier, or I'm sorry, Destination 5 tier, where it is ours and Destination Devy's Discord combined in one. All you can eat in terms of content. And then hit us up for a roster review, man. Under Scott there. Email roster review at dynastytradesand5.com. You can go to roster review at dynastytradesand5.com and ask about the 3 options we have. We have a peer-to-peer. We have the live one with Shane and Scott, and another one as well. So, and I wanted to throw that out there as well because this was very cool. One guy from one of our leagues decided he was going to donate his $400 winnings to the channel and to get a roster review. So people are doing some cool shit in the background supporting the channel. So we appreciate you all either way.
Truly.
All right, y'all. That's it.
Bye.
I'm going to end this stream. Thanks, everyone.